Wow, welcome to Real Talk. My name is Gaby Burt from The Journey. I'm managing director for The Journey organization, and I have been director of this organization for over 25 years. So I have been traveling the world with Brandon Bays and have seen profound transformation in people that we have met all around the world. I have naturally very much seen this in myself. And so this is a very, very potent time right now that we felt we wanted to come online and have a session called Real Talk and meet you. And it was announced as Gaby Burt and guests. And today my guest is Daniel Wagner, who is actually the Journey's Director for Communication and Marketing. And who better to have somebody as my special guest than Daniel, because Daniel and I very much came to the conclusion of we need to just speak about the basics, and gave it the name Real Talk to kind of take the mystic side out of the journey, or what the journey is perceived to is often, highly spiritual, alternative. And yet it is so practical. I have absolutely no idea what I would have done over these last 25 years if I hadn't had those tools in my personal toolbox. And so what the intention here is, and then I'm going to let Daniel say a few, but what the intention here is to somehow make these tools more widely available. We really want, especially at a time like this, for the journey tools to be available to many more people, because it does bring us kind of into alignment with ourselves. It resolves inner conflict. It heals old hurts and traumas and past issues. It clears issues on every level of being. And especially when we are at a time as we are right now. And I've been online with Brandon so many times, in prayers, in meditations, in truth conversations with her. And we all want a better world. We all want a different world. We all want to live in freedom. We want to live in joy. We want to live in happiness. And yet the outside reflection of what's going on in our world is very, very different. We've lived through 2 years of COVID with being absolutely stifled in all of our movements of what we want to do, how we can do it. And somehow we've been triggered in every area. And not only, as if that wasn't enough, then we have seen the world going into a war, or let's just say a part of the world, or quite a massive part of the world, and a threatening kind of, it's like the C word, don't mention it, but we all think it is World War III coming. I don't know, but there are so many uncertainties. Is COVID coming back in September? We live in Greece here, and from 1st of May, everything is abolished. And the next sentence is, yes, but it all comes back on 1st of September, because nobody knows, because we all just don't know. Australia, the journey is very, very, has a huge family and community in Australia. They have seen the biggest floods in human history. Biblical was the word that was mentioned, and people have lost their homes, their belongings, their cars. Needless to say, there have been human life casualties too. So it's as if the world is standing on its head. And what are we going to do? And so this is really a time where we wanted to bring real talk, where we wanted to talk of what we can do, or how we can make a contribution to what's going on in the bigger picture, or somehow kind of taking a proactive part in making a difference in the bigger picture. And so that's my little introduction for today, for just now. And I would love to hand over to Daniel, and for Daniel to speak a few words as well. So thank you, Daniel, for being here with me tonight, or today, wherever in the world you are Zooming or joining us from. So thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Gaby. I'm so super excited. I've been with the journey for about 6 years now, and I traveled the world with Brandon, Kevin, the founders. And first of all, I know we're broadcasting this on YouTube Live and on Facebook, and in two of our Facebook assets, a group and a page. So if you're there, if you are hearing us, seeing us right now, please just use the comments box on any platform and just type in that you're there, because right now I'm in this software called StreamYard, so I'm with Gaby, but I cannot see who sees us. So it feels a little bit like the flying blind. That would be amazing. So just let us know you're there. Type in that you are there. That would be great. Cool. So someone's saying welcome everyone. So that's good. Here with you, Facebook user 7. Wonderful.
Fantastic.
That's very exciting. So Gaby was very clear in her intro. The journey has been around for almost 30 years. And if you look at it from the outset, it looks like this is a healing modality for people who want to find peace within. And there is a spiritual aspect to it. And it all sounds very beautiful. But what we want to do and explore today is, what is the real world application when the shit hits the fan? What happens when the world goes upside down? How can we use journey for everyday issues? Real talk, real people, real tools, real results. And there are two parts of this idea that Gaby and I share what we've experienced. We have plenty of miraculous occurrences in our own life and have heard them. But even more exciting for me would be if any of you, and I can see more and more people joining now with comments, let us know what you are struggling with. There's no shame in saying, I am struggling. I'm failing to cope. I'm finding it difficult to be with the world as it is, as we experience it. And then most likely Gaby will be able to point towards how could the journey, which is the journey is a massive set of tools. If you ever been to a journey intensive, and this is the second part I want to point to repeatedly during this, once you share your issues, we can point you to a set of tools that we use to help. And that help is not just a band-aid. It gives you a different perspective. It allows you to come back to yourself and to a place of stillness. And from that, you can make better decisions. If we're in stress, in panic, in reactive mode, then we won't be making the best decisions. And as Gaby said, the threat to our freedom, the threat to our children's education, now the threat to our lives, possibly the millions of people that have been displaced, that is stressful for anybody. So how can we come back? And that is just part of what's available. And I want to also proudly announce that after 28 years, we're now offering our entry-level event, the Journey Intensive, which is of course fully online. You don't have to travel anywhere. And that will give you the tools in your own hands to use in any situation that might pop up: relational problems, job issues, health issues, anything that might pop up, you'll be better equipped to deal and cope. And the Journey Intensive will let you know that during this short chat with Gabs and hopefully with many of you, that is now available at a huge 70% discount, because we as the Journey want to make sure our tools are in many more people's hands to help, to share, to cope, to help make this, deal with what is going on right now. We'll share that with you in just a minute. And we have a special coupon code called Fearless22. And there will be a moment in this next half hour where I will share with you why we've chosen Fearless as the coupon code. So yeah, that was my little bit, Gaby.
Thank you.
Where how do we end up with this crazy idea of just going live and joining hands here?
Yeah, so thank you very, very much, Daniel. And it's such a gift, to have you here with me or here with us in this group. And I'm really, really delighted that I'm seeing hellos from Brisbane, Australia. Goodness gracious, it's very, very late for you, or early in the morning probably already, and from England. So the idea is for this to go, around the globe. That would be our prayer. The reason we started this, it was really what I have seen in my time with the Journey for 25 years, every time there is a problem out there where more people should have these tools in their hands, is also connected with oh my God, what's going to happen next? I can't afford to do this, because who knows what happens tomorrow? What if? It's the big what if. So we said, what if we just opened the doors really, really wide and made it so easily available? First of all, it's from home. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to travel. And it comes at a massive discount, massive discount. So if there is any unresolved issue in your life, or if you've already done the journey, if you know what the journey is and does, and you know somebody who could really do with the help of doing this work, either for health reasons, for relationship reasons, for anxiety, for depression, whatever the issue is, please let them know. That's the one ask we have, because when we were speaking, it's like, what are we going to do? How are we going to let people know? We said, well, we just need to show up live. We just need to speak it. We need to say it. And we also, what I feel so strongly about this, how does this whole thing connect with what's going on in the world outside? How is this big picture somehow? How can I make a difference? What can I do? Well, I'm pretty sure that somehow, and I'm not saying that everyone has the same issues, but if there is any conflict inside of you, if that gets resolved, then we are one tiny little step closer to a greater peace or a better world. And I really do believe that what we're seeing outside on the big stage is a kind of reflection of what's going on in the collective. So the conflict that we're seeing, the war consciousness of people fighting each other, killing each other, that there's somehow something lives inside of people and carried, and we don't acknowledge it, we don't speak about it, we don't let it up, we don't let it out. And it was a discussion between our team when I said, I've just been on holiday and I'm actually born in Austria. I've just come back from Austria and I met with a friend here and we were just hanging out, we were just having lunch, and out of nowhere these constant conversation kept going on. What's wrong in the world? And I could really sense and feel the anger building in this person. And I didn't, I didn't quite know how to respond. So I just kind of encouraged him to say more and let it out and let him speak about it. And yet when I was at home, I reflected on this entire meeting and conversation. And then I thought, well, I do know some of the private issues that are going on in that family. And there is conflict, there is a divorce happening that is very, very unpeaceful, if you want to call it that, acrimonious. One doesn't speak to the other. The children are being turned against one parent. And that's just one family, but there is 4 people in one family, each one carrying a conflict issue. There is my own family. There is conflict in my own family. I can't do anything about it. I can only just make it available. I can only just say, listen, please, you know what I do. Why don't you come and join an event? Or why don't you let me do a process with you? There is just unresolved conflicts in so many places wherever I look. There is illness, there is fatigue issues, there is like chronic fatigue is kind of an issue where it feels like we carry a lid over our being. We just can't express, or we feel we're not allowed to express what's really going on. We are scared to say that we're scared. We're scared to say that we are raging, furious, angry, And yet, if there was one way into freedom, if there was one way into healing conflict, it is being real. It is being real and meeting those issues. And actually, the one thing that Brandon teaches so practically, so beautifully, and is something that you can repeat over, and I've been doing this work for 25 years. I came to the journey in 1996, and when I first came, I so fell in love with this work that I walked away from the workshop a different human being. And I just said to my friends, this needs to be shouted from the rooftops. I'm still here 25 years later, and I don't know how else to shout other than say, take those tools. I have friends inside the journey who have done this work. And sometimes we speak, and a friend of mine in Australia, I had a conversation with recently, and she said, she said, I believe I'm not sure if I would still be here if I hadn't done this work. I don't know if I'd still be here if I hadn't done this work. I was in pretty bad shape at the time when I came to the journey, and I didn't even think something was wrong with me. So, that's how kind of silly these things are. We don't recognize it until we really dive in, deeply, and find out for ourselves where the truth lies, and what it feels like.
I want to pick up on some of what you shared, Gaby, which is this: we don't admit we're afraid, we don't admit we're angry, right? Our society does not really encourage free expression of our emotions. As a matter of fact, there's a very narrow band that is encouraged and allowed. So we all start wearing masks, and I don't just mean the face coverings that have been enforced during COVID times. We are very used to pretending to be a certain person to fit in with society. And what that does over a lifetime, it creates a suppressed part of your personality. And my own journey in the journey has been to uncover some of these lost parts, recovering parts of my being, my soul, so to say. And I see that pretty much everywhere. People are trying to fit into a role. They're not being honest. They're not being truthful. And what I love about journey work, and we can maybe move to some practical application in just a minute, you are encouraged to actually feel what you've been suppressing. And it's a safe way to release some of these old, ancient, sometimes decades of something you carried with you, suppressed grief, suppressed anger, suppressed whatever. And these suppressions is known now. They lead to depressions, they lead to anxiety. And we see obviously not just an epidemic in young people and men particularly, because they are just so forced to play a certain role. But I want to just quickly look at the comments here. We got people from Poland, Sweden, England, South Africa, Australia. And I would encourage any of you who are live here, just for a moment, stop and check in with yourself and say, which area am I currently experiencing struggle, or feel that I'm being triggered or find it difficult to cope? It could be just the rising energy prices. I am worried about how am I going to pay my bills. It might be a job loss. It might be a disease. It might be a divorce. It might be debt. It might be just a common life issue. And I would love to just hear what that is. Because the idea of this conversation with Gaby is that we can share with you and demonstrate that the journey has approaches or tools or ideas that will help you get perspective and change how you feel about things, but not with NLP reframing and just like pretending everything's fine, but by actually resolving them, uprooting them, transforming them. So if anyone wants to share, that would be great. Otherwise, we have plenty of our own references we can bring into this.
Yeah, and I keep repeating the word practical, because it is practical word. It is work that is practical. And the interesting element of this is that in the very, very early days, actually, it was Deepak Chopra who speaks about how can we, grow happily into maturity or old age, happy and healthy. And he had two common denominators, and he says, if you somehow, through the act of grace or through some coincidence, open into this infinite presence, this boundless, vast presence that is a peace that is beyond words, or this stillness, this love and presence. And by doing so, clear out memories that are held in our cells. That is the key. That is the key. And I actually heard him say that before I've ever met Brandon. And I just thought, well, that sounds really great, but how? How do you do that? And not because I felt like I needed it, but I was setting out to work as a homeopath. So I wanted it for my clients at that time. And so this is what I heard from Deepak Chopra. And I tried my hardest to follow all the instructions that he gave at that time. And I'm talking about mid-90s. And I wasn't very successful. But it was then, I think, a couple of years later that I came across Brandon and her work. And she actually says that, on day one of my workshop, you experience this infinite presence, this infinite intelligence. I call it source. And on day two, you learn a process that helps you uncover traumatic cell memories. And we clear them completely. And I thought, if this woman is right, then she's holding the key to health, youthfulness, happiness, everything. And I couldn't believe that it could be that simple, but somehow I made it to her workshop. And this is actually where my journey began, because my thinking, my arrogance of I need this for my clients or I need this for my patients as a homeopath, I realized how much work there was to do on myself. But yet, on this very first weekend, there was a huge, massive waking up happening. It was like somebody turned the lights on the inside, and life has never been the same again from that first day. Not even the complete weekend, the first day turned everything. And I knew that what Deepak Chopra said then was true. He just didn't have the tools, and yet there was somebody who has the tools. And I have been using this work for myself, in my personal family, as best as possible. And it is really, really has made a profound shift in all of our lives. And I have seen it over and over and over and over in so many people that I have met on my travels. So there is a question coming here.
I want to acknowledge, Karina, that you've taken the courage, and Gaby will read through that question in just a second to bring it into this conversation. I want to just share what Gaby just shared about the journey. A link was just put into your comment box on Facebook and on YouTube, and this is a special link to the Journey Intensive Online, which is the 3-day event with Brandon. We have events coming up in North America, in Australasia, and in Europe. And as Gaby said earlier, Fearless 22 gives you a 70+% discount, which means a 3-day event with Brandon and international presenters and translation, €147, or there's about, depending on your currency. So use that opportunity to find out more about the work. And I just glimpsed over Karina's share before I bring that into the conversation. Fearless 22, will it mean that after you've done the journey, you will never experience fear again? Most likely not. But fearless as a word, it just means there will be less fear, and there will be a way that you have courage to dive in and uncover some of the things Gaby shared, the holding back, what has stopped you to trust yourself, what has stopped you from express yourself, and all that. So Fearless22 is a coupon code that you can use on the checkout page to get your ticket to the Journey Intensive for just 147. Gaby, you have had time.
I would love to address Karina's question here. Karina, thank you for posting this. And I don't know what work you did or what work you did in order to try to cure your cancer. One of the things that I have also learned is that nobody can know the answer in advance. Nobody knows at all what our destiny is, where we're heading, what we're going. And in the years that I have been doing this work, and cancer is one of the issues that has shown up so many times in our workshops with people. And sometimes it's been as lovely as, oh, you know, people come to Brandon and say, Brandon, so many thanks for writing your book. I've only just did the work from the book and the cancer is gone, never to come back again. For other people, it was different. And your story reminds me of somebody. There was, and this is going back quite a few years ago, there was this one lady who felt like that a cancer needs to be, or an illness, don't even call it cancer, it needs to be healed naturally. I think we all have a path and we all have a learning, and we don't know what this is. And do you know, for one person, it may be the medical route, and for one person, it may be the alternative route. And both people have a different path. There isn't one issue that is the same that I have met with people. There was this one lady, and she came to the journey, and her cancer was serious and seriously bad. And she was absolutely opposed to the medical field. She was not going to the medical field to have any treatment for her cancer, and it got worse. No matter what she did, it got worse. It worsened. And there was one situation where she met with Brandon, and Brandon said to her, she said, what if the alternative route is not where you meant to go? What if you meant to be healing your conflict with the medical field? What if you may need to swallow your pride and actually go to a doctor and be diagnosed and receive help from the medical field? And I was kind of looking at that and thought, wow, I wasn't expecting Brandon to say that. And this woman got very, very quiet. This must be at least, I think, 20 years ago. And please, Karina, let me tell you, this woman is healthy and well, living in Hawaii today. And she did go the medical route. She continued to do journey work alongside and cleared out issues from her past that helped her heal, and she went the medical route. But you did say, as your last words in your comment, how can I trust again? The trust is not in medicine. The trust is not into you and your mind. The trust is in what you uncover here, what you uncover in your heart and soul. And the journey is a tool that takes you there. It takes you home inside of you, and your body, your being will know what is appropriate, what is the right path. I know that whatever is going on in life, this is a jungle. You know, sometimes it's like if something goes wrong, it's like, should I go this way? Should I go this way? Or should I go this way? I have no clue. But I have learned, and this is that was on day one of the Journey Intensive, that all the answers lie inside of me, that there is no one outside of me that knows anything better than my heart and my soul know. And so which route, which treatment should you take? I'm not here sitting, do the journey to heal your cancer. Do the journey to get real, to find out what is right for you. And then, because there will no one, and what I love about the journey is that there is no one telling you anything. The journey, even if you do it, not even, when you do it with another person, somebody will kind of create an opening to help you to go through emotional layers into a vast field of presence, which is truth, which is an essence of truth that we all are. That is our true nature. It is life. It's the essence of life is who we are. And here we find the answers. No one else outside knows it. And no one should be telling you. And this is why I'm often so resistant of wanting people telling me what I should do, not because I need to be in charge, not because I need to be in control. I don't want to have these influences coming in under the guard. I want to find out for myself first, and then I double check. So that is what I have to say to that, Karina, and I hope that some of the words that I have spoken here are ringing true for you. So this is not trusting anyone or anything, because that's not what needs to be trusted. The only one thing that can be trusted is that inside, and that is this love and truth that we all are, and it knows, and our bodies know, our beings know. So I hope that has helped you a little bit. And as I don't know what you've done before. And I was going to tell something else, but through that story, I think it kind of revealed a little bit of what the journey does. So I don't know if there is any other issues that have.
I think it was a very beautiful answer, and it's maybe not sometimes what people want to hear. And we said real talk, we don't know what's going to happen, what's going to be coming up here. But my own memory of the journey was just that, there was a guiding me towards a field, a vast space that I didn't know I could reside in and come from. And over the years, that helped me create different answers. That is including simple processes like the conscious choice process, where somebody helps you go, in your mind even, go down two routes, and it helps you make decisions. But I feel what is such a big issue, especially for men, and has become a big issue, is to not feel, to not know how to feel. And that was the journey was for me. I didn't know that I couldn't feel. I was so stuck in my head. My life literally started here. It was all up here. And it took me a long time to understand what I was missing by living that way. There was a sense that I always felt removed from real life, and journey put me right into life, into, when I say the driving seat, it sounds like I'm in control of what's going on. I'm not, but I feel very immersed in intensity of what life is bringing, ups and downs, right? A much wider range, no sugarcoating it. So that was my part. Some more.
I just want to come back to Karina one more time, because she said the problem is that she did listen to her heart and to her body, and this is what happened. And if somebody comes to the journey with the issue of cancer, we would say you need to do at least one process every week. So you did listen once and then you did something, but this is something ongoing. This is why it's so beautiful and important to have those tools in your toolbox, or the method, the tools for this method in your hands, so you can do it over and over. And not only do we have the tools, we teach you how to do it. We have a community that helps you to embrace the work. We once people go through the first workshop, there is a group of people that stay together, and they meet on a regular basis. They swap journey processes. This is not a one process and I'm done with it. This is a constant unfolding. and revealing. And we are layered, a little bit layers like an onion, you know, so we clear one thing out and then there is something else. And with cancer, you can, I'm sure, once you get to the root cause and the right treatment or what feels right for you, that there is a way that healing can take place naturally. So I think that those are all the aspects of what I would like to mention here.
Gaby, a beautiful
Yeah.
question. Hey, both. How do you address people's worries that the journey will open Pandora's box? In our morning meeting, we talked about, we've written down can of worms.
A can of worms.
Pandora's box. Really, really valid question. And I loved whoever is the person, it says Facebook user, when you say address people's worries, my guess is that is your worry as well, your concern. And it is a very valid question. You know, how do I know that if I go down the layers and what will I find? Is this just going to be, you know, what's going to happen? Will I be able to cope? Would love to know what your answer is to that, Gaby.
Well, it's a beautiful question, and I hope you like the answer, whoever put that question. But if there is a can of worms, you know, health and healing can only come when these worms have been let go of. You can't hide them. That's the issue. But one thing I also have experienced really on real people, in real seminars with people, is that grace life will only ever give us what we're ready for. So if there is a can of worms, you don't get, you know, they don't come all out at the same time. We do a process, we recognize, we realize what the issue is, and we clear it, we heal it. And then everything is great, everything is wonderful. And then maybe in a month's time, another issue comes up, and then you're ready for another process. This is why we have created the community, the online community, because it has never been so easy. It's been really quite complicated in the past when we had to go to seminars, when we had to meet in rooms, when people weren't used to meeting online. Now it's kind of just go in a room, get ready, meet with a group of 6 people, go off to a breakout room, do a journey process, done. And I'm still at home. I'm going to have dinner, you know? So it's never been so easy. It's never been so uncomplicated. And the can of worms, sometimes it's a concept because we're afraid of what may be lurking in the underground. And well, better to know than not to know, or better out than in. And it's this, once we open, once we take the lid off, grace, life, the universe is actually very, very gentle, very, very gentle, very loving with us. And so it only ever deals us what we're ready for. It will not smack you in the face with something that you can't cope with. It won't smack you in the face with something that you and the partner that you'll be working with can't deal with. And so it's gentle, you know, it is born from love. It's born from this benign presence that weaves through all of us. That is the force, the life force, the chi, the prana, this that we are. You know, we are so much more than just this bone and flesh thing that we think we are, you know. There is greatness there. There is a potential there. There is a healing energy there, all moving through us moment by moment. And to just, once we clear all the crap, we have constant access to that.
Can we bring that question back up, please? Can you bring that comment back up, please? The Pandora's box comment, because I'd just like to share an additional view to
yes,
Gaby.
please.
So if you've not done the journey process ever, and this is why I think it's really important these days, a lot of people using intensive processes, plant medicine induced, or you know, go do some wild stuff and take mushrooms or whatever. There's so many ways where we create environments in which so-called healing is supposed to happen. If you look at a journey process, what actually takes place, you close your eyes and a qualified practitioner is only creating a safe space so you guide yourself. They are not forcing you, they're not pushing you, they're not throwing you, you don't push anything. You're literally gliding into something. And when that moment of fear comes, and this is literally, there is fear because we've tucked away trauma. We didn't know how to deal with it at the time. It might be an early childhood memory, it might be something that happened, but you will be, your body, your unconscious mind, the real intelligence that runs everything in your body, not just your thinking, every other process, it will show you how to get there in the most gentle way, and you will discover what you need to discover in that particular process. Often it's not what you expect. Great. Sometimes it's exactly what you were hoping for, but it's only ever going to guide you, and the person holding space for you makes sure that this is a safe and effective experience. And just to be clear as well, a single process will have effect in your life over months and years to come. These clearings are permanent. This is not like we're pushing something away and it's going to come back. These are changes on cellular level. So I just wanted to bring that in, because if you don't know how journey process works, and the good news is at a journey intensive, not only will you learn the theory and the teaching, so to say, but you will be going to practical process work. Somebody will help you do that journey to uncover and reveal and release, and you will learn the skills yourself so you can do it with yourself and with your family and friends. So this is what Gaby said at the beginning. You will be equipped with a set of tools, and if something happens in your life, it's time for a process. If you're part of the journey family, it's a turn of phrase. If something goes on, said, "Oh, let's do a process. I think we need a process. I think he needs I think I need a process." Right? It is just a recognition of saying an overwhelming situation or a memory from the past or something has triggered me. I'm aware now that my thinking mind goes into a story, so I'm inviting myself and the person with me into a resolution that will be brought about. So safe, effective. Join us, please join us. If you haven't been in a journey intensive, these tools will allow you to do so much in your own life and for others. The journey intensive, we've got 3 events coming up in Australasia, in North America, in Europe, and currently the journey has decided for this season of journey intensives to offer you a massive discount, so you can be there for just 147 euros for a 3-day event with Brendan and presenters. Use Fearless22 on the checkout page. There's a coupon code that will take the price down to 147 from 497.
Somebody said the worms will be transformed to butterflies. How beautiful. Yeah, what would you rather have, hidden worms or beautiful butterflies? So very, very true. One word that also, Daniel, just to add to what you've said about the journey, it's lasting. You know, the whatever journey, whatever work you do, whatever issue you clear out, if you have, let's just say for argument's sake, a betrayal issue or a self-worth issue, if you become aware that you can't trust, you know, maybe the cancer story is just a reflection of not being able to trust. And one of the issues in life that needs to be dealt with is opening into trust and realizing and becoming aware what is to be trusted. And the journey makes that possible. And once you have that, once in a journey process, one profound and sacred element of that is that we are opening in a presence, and I can actually say that having grown up in a very, very non-religious family, but you are opening into a profound presence of, how to call it? It has so many names. You can name it source, love, truth, a presence of God, and it's different every time it shows up. But once you have the tiniest taste of that, you spend the rest of your life staying true to that. And if the journey has one thing to offer, it's that. Because then you know with absolute certainty who you are. This is the truth of who you are. And this knows exactly what you need moment to moment to moment. And it's just a profound, practical tool bringing us home. And if more of us could live from home, maybe we could reach that tipping point that the world wakes up, so that we can live in this, or more of us, or the world can live in this presence. If I had a prayer, that would be it.
Beautiful, Gaby. Thank you. But when you said it has different names, there is even science today telling us in quantum physics that this is the field of potentiality, right? Everything starts from there. Every moment can be connected, fresh, and is new. I wonder if we can bring up Charmaine's comment. Charmaine Beckley. That's just really, really cool. And it's just, if you are within the Journey community, or if you are plugged into our community network, you just constantly hear stories like that. Constant painful feet. As a nurse, it's not really ideal. I was blessed with the Journey Intensive and Advanced Weekend, which is what we're sharing here today, is available to all of you. And I can tell you that I cannot even remember that pain. Within a month, the pain was gone. I would love to know, Charmaine, if you're still there, how long ago that was, just to have a reference, because Gaby just said it's gone. And because here's the fascinating thing, you can't even remember the pain, because the pain is actually gone scientifically from your cells, and even the memory of the pain is gone. So yes, your mind remembers there was pain, but there is literally nothing left of it. So this is really such a beautiful story. I want to just check out the time, Gaby. We said we're going to be like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think we need to, just so we're not going on and on and on, repeating ourselves. If you have found this useful, we're coming again on Friday. We're continuing Real Talk. This is a little mini series. It's a beginning. Who knows? It may stay. I don't know. But we're coming again on Friday. Friday morning, actually, CET 10 o'clock, which allows more of Australia to join. So it will be Australia evening time. It will be Europe's morning time. And we come again to Real Talk and share some more stories, some different stories, and hope that we've got some guests again who can share some of their own issues that we find ways of answering through this little platform. I love the look of it. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited what is possible. Please, like Nike says, just do it. You know, just do it. It is no, I have never known, I don't know anybody who looked back and said, oh, I wish I hadn't, you know. Because
it is life-changing.
There's something profound that happens. And we have never, by the way, I'm not sure if we've said it loud enough, we have never done this before. We have, in all the years that the Journey has been in existence, we have never opened the doors and given a discount like that and made it available. But we thought now is the time. Something needs to happen. And so please, if you're excited about it, even if you are part of the Journey community, please share it. It shows up on YouTube. It shows up on Facebook. Let our office know on our pages. It's everywhere. So let people know this is a one-time, get 70 or something % off, or 147 euros for a 3-day seminar that is normally priced at 497. So just do it. Do it, or find somebody. Come. Oh, by the way, if you want to come and resit, if you have done it before, there is a really, really, really also very, very cheap resit price. I think it's 47 euros, that too. So everybody come. Let's light up the world. The world could really do with a little bit of, not a little bit, with a huge light bulb. Let us be the light bulbs. I really, really wish. I wish and I wish.
Beautiful.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope that this has answered a little bit, or some of the answers, or some of the questions you may have had. And thank you, Daniel, so much for joining me. And it's good night and goodbye from me. And Daniel, I'm going to let you finish off with your own words as well.
I really feel very little to add, apart from I noticed that we had the comment come back from the lady who shared about her foot pain, that it was 2013, so many years ago, and pain-free. I'm glad we started Real Talk, Gaby. It's an opportunity to just come unprepared with experience, with our wish for the world. And you said it right. Let's light up the world. Let's all of us dive into this world, create more inner resolve, solve more issues that will reflect in our families, in our communities, and in the world at large. And if we want to know what can we do about some of these big crises, hashtag it starts with you. We started that as part of this campaign for the journey. It starts within you, it starts in you, it starts with you. So please join us. If you've been there already, come back again. This is not a one-off. And thank you, Gaby. It's tremendous. I'm so glad that I could join you here today. All the best,
everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you.